bored. I mean, what do I do with my time? Oh, I know. Start a podcast.
The wolves are the right answer.
All right, guys, debate is over. We are moving on right now.
I do believe they've confounded me.
And I kind of just missed this.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the inaugural first episode of the Trifold Tea podcast. My name is Sel. I'm your lovely host, and I'm also the youngest of three sisters. And I'm joined by...
Hi, guys. I'm Ezzy. I'm the eldest, the wisest, and of course, the most humble of the Trifold Tea crew. And I'll pass it on to our last sister.
See, last. Yep, that gives it away. I'm the middle one. I'm Jin. I'm honestly just lucky that I got a call to do this because I'm often forgotten.
It's not true.
Yeah, well, she was invited from the beginning.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we're all adults now. This was kind of my idea. I was just like, we weren't as close as we were when we were all living together under one roof, just like that chaos. So yeah, I just really want something that we can look back on when we're 40 and know that we've maintained the same close relationship that we had growing up. And I hope it's fun for you guys to listen to this. Grab a cup of tea and just listen to us yap.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I wasn't totally into this or on board from the very beginning. This is definitely outside of my comfort zone. But yeah, Sel was pretty... I have to do this. We have to do this sort of thing.
Jin, what's that one meme that you reference? Every talentless person ever. Oh, let's start a podcast together.
It's just like, I'm kind of bored. I mean, what do I do with my time? Oh, I know. Start a podcast.
Yeah, we'll start a podcast together.
Yeah, I mean, that is literally how Sel presented it to Jen and I. She was just like, hey, we should do a podcast.
Guys, she also thinks she's funny though. So that's
we
really
gotta
going
give it up to her
somewhere,
a little bit. She's ever so slightly funny.
I like hearing the sound of my own voice. I'm not above admitting that for sure.
Yeah.
No, but truthfully, the reason I sort of gave in is, I don't know if you guys remember when our parents would go shopping or to one of their 1,000 friends' homes. When we were living back together at home, we just kind of gather around the dining table and have these like weird, intense conversations.
Like midnight.
Yeah, like drama and then uncontrollable laughter. I don't know, it was a pretty good time. And yeah, like Sal said, we don't really have those kind of conversations anymore. Yeah, of course, we still hang out to watch movies, play games, but the podcast kind of forces us to sit together and have those conversations about everything and nothing.
Anything,
so
honestly.
Yeah, it's nice to just like be the three of us. We're in a room. We're forced to like speak to each other. No freaking phones or whatever. Yeah, it'll be great.
We
Yeah,
say
just all the
with
other technology, right?
with 3 laptops, 2 phones right in front of us. Yeah.
Yeah. I think also for context, like when we were little and we would go to other homes, the three of us would always break away. Like we would always be talking amongst ourselves, doing our own thing. And I kind of miss that, like talking and just like getting our opinions because we are, can be funny sometimes. So
This is a hot take factory.
Yeah.
We'll say that for sure.
We're just here to have fun. And, now that I've moved out of the house, like I don't have quite as much noise at my house. And I kind of just miss this, just having people talking. And, hopefully we can provide that for you guys as well when you're listening to this and just have us in the background.
Yeah.
So what have you guys been up to lately?
Can I go
did we
first?
actually talk about our name? The Trifold Tea. Who are we, right?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of got together and we went through a couple of different names and we were just looking around to see if anyone else has taken these names. There was this one kind of name that we had talked about.
Which we won't mention.
Yeah, we were kind of excited about that, but there was sort of a name that was pretty similar to that out there already. And I don't know, like, honestly, we just picked a random letter for some reason. It was tea. We like drinking tea and we're like,
and there's 3 of us. Holy
Three of us. Trifold.
Yeah.
Trifold Tea.
That's just it.
So we are the Trifold Tea.
Yeah, that is the important context here.
But back to Sel, what were you saying?
Oh yeah, I am a humongous book nerd. Right? I mean, this is something that the two of you know very intimately. I'm reading this book called The Fourth Wing series. It's a term in the space. It's called romantasy. It's a fantasy setting, so there's like dragons and other cool happening. But the underlying story is about this romance. And how do I put this delicately? It is pure and utter drivel. It is awful. There's like a dragon sex scene randomly. Oh. It's very like, I'm 14 and I wrote a fan fiction. It's like, I'm so short and petite, and I see Zayden Ryerson across the room, crossing his arms over his big chest. And I'm like, who the wrote this? Because I'm really coming from, so a book that all three of us have read together is Susanna Clarke's Piranesi, right? And that book raises the ceiling of what's possible in the written form.
In the realm of
written form. And you go back to, I mean, no disrespect to The Fourth Wing. It is a wonderfully amazing series. I'm like already on the second book in the span of a week.
Well, you just insulted it. So.
but it's really just that moment of, you know, you're flinging feces around in the sandbox and 3 feet next to you, Susanna Clarke is painting the Sistine Chapel. That's the level of the prose, the way the things are structured. And I'm like in the process of writing something myself, right? Obviously nothing big, just for fun. But like seeing these different writing styles is really informative about like what's possible.
So that's your current read, Fourth Wing.
Yeah, that is my current read.
And you would recommend it?
I actually do enjoy it. Like the magic system is pretty fun. It's like, it's dragons, right? Like there's not much you can get wrong with dragons.
Interesting. What about you, Jen? What have you been thinking about?
So obviously we all go to the doctor, right? I was at my doctor. We were talking about protein intake. What should I be targeting? What should I be incorporating into my food? And she recommends this powder. She goes, here's a powder. It's a leaf extract. Here is the QR code if you wanted to go and purchase it. Obviously, you can get it off of Amazon. Sometimes you just don't know who is supplying this powder. So
it's like plant-based?
So it's plant-based, right? I mean, I can tell the powder name. It's moringa powder, right? I know nothing about this, but the doctor's just like, just take it. You put a teaspoon into hot water. You can take it as a shot. You can drink it as a tea. It's like amazing for you. It's protein, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, she gives me this QR code. My phone, full of storage, has no ability to scan this QR code or take a photo. So she tells me the site that she recommends. I go home. I think nothing of it. Then I'm just like, you know, I really should be increasing my protein intake. I log on to this website. It is her brand. It is her company. The doctor is the person who owns this company, and she recommended I take this powder. So it's just like, why did you recommend a powder that you source and now you are selling it? And I didn't know anything about this doctor outside of she's been my PCP for a few years, but she's written like 8 books. Like she has all this information and wealth of knowledge. But I was like, it just irks me that it's something that she is selling. And I was saying like, I don't want to eat a lot of eggs. And she goes, well, take this powder as the replacement.
No.
And it gives you like 2 grams of proteins. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's definitely a huge conflict of interest. And also it's 2025. I think we've come quite far in knowing that supplements are not really exactly what they say they are. And for a doctor to recommend that with
her
what
own brand.
Yes, her own brand.
Like if you
huge
just told me to
conflict
go
of
get
interest
it from somewhere else, fine. But like it felt weird that I asked for a recommendation. She had a QR code locked and loaded. She brought it over to me for me to go onto her site to source this specific powder.
Yeah, it's giving like
Crazy.
You guys know that like super wanky professor in college and like they recommend their own freaking books and you have to purchase it out of pocket, by the way. And like that's exactly what it's giving. It's like, here, yes, this is my day job, but also here's my side hustle. I'm gonna need you to spot me a couple extra dollars.
Here's the best part. She said, hey, you can source it off of Amazon, but you just never know whether you can trust it. And I went through the process of actually trying to buy it from her company. There's no ingredient list. It's literally just add to cart. And the description just says source locally and like, you know, hand packaged and delivered. And like, I know she's not packaging this stuff.
And that's
so
the ethos, like, right?
What?
She's a doctor. So you're thinking, oh, this is like some FDA approved. But actually, it's just some crap that she's throwing together. Yeah, she's just throwing this together. You're trusting her opinion as a medical professional.
Right. And if you didn't read long enough to go at the bottom and see the doctor's name that you just went and saw 2 hours ago, you might not even think anything about it. You're just like, my doctor wants what's best for me. This is what she recommended. This is what I'm going to go buy. And her whole thing is like chronic condition treatment, right? She has a holistic approach to things. I get it. I appreciate it. But it's like, and maybe this powder is the secret sauce that I've been missing in my life. But it's just like the fact that she recommended it and it's her own product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What else have you guys been up to?
This is going to be like really rogue. Neither of you are going to know a damn thing about this.
Sal contributing to our conversation. This is how it usually goes. She just comes in with a topic no one knows about.
I'm going rogue, right? So actually, Ezzy plays this as well, but there's this game called Balatro. It's super popular. It won Game of the Year in 2024, I want to say. Yeah. They recently, so someone working in the modding community made a 1v1 multiplayer mode for Balatro. It is so much fun to watch. It's the exact same seed, right? So Azzy and I once played on the same seed together just to see how far we could go. It was very friendly. But in this mod, you have a certain number of lives. The sort of, you do your small blind, you do your big blind, but then the boss blind, you're facing off against each other. Whoever gets the higher score between the two of you keeps a life. The other person loses a life.
Oh.
It is so much freaking fun. I'm trying to get it set up myself to actually play it with a couple of people, but I've just been watching like these big name Balatro YouTubers just go head to head, just really like thinking about their econ, thinking about what jokers to pick up. By the way, if you're not Balatro pilled, this is going to be absolute drivel to whoever's listening to this.
I can second that.
Listen. We've been trying to get Jin to play for quite a long time. It's a great
I don't have
game.
time.
I like Apple paid Jin $10 because it cost $10 on iOS. And I was like, hey, you need to buy this game like instantly. And she was like, yeah, I'll do it. Meanwhile, pocketed the $10, hasn't done it.
$10 is $10.
Anyway, that is my rogue shout. What's going on with you, Azzy?
So I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's this show called 4 Seasons on Netflix. Have you guys heard about that?
I feel like
Like
I've
Vivaldi's?
heard about it, but I'm not familiar.
It's basically about these 3 couples, essentially, that are this friend group. In the show, basically, one of the couples breaks up. The guy leaves, and they're all in their like 50s and 60s at this point. And the guy comes in with a very young girlfriend. Also, what they call young in the show is 32, and we're all under that age group. So it just felt a little bit nice because I was like, usually when they pick like these young partners in
22.
shows, they're like 20, they're 19. But yeah, there's this huge sort of age gap in the show. And what happens is the guy dies.
After getting this new girlfriend.
Yes.
Okay.
He dies. And then the ex-wife is the one who is planning the funeral because they were married for like 25 years. And there's this whole thing about her not letting the girlfriend speak at the funeral. And I was thinking about it, like, would I be mature enough in that situation if my partner of 25 years
Absolutely not.
up and leaves me, gets a partner that is significantly younger than me? And in the show, they have a child, the ex-wife and the guy. And the child makes a comment like, your girlfriend is essentially mom in a younger body. And that pissed me off so much.
That's everyone's fear, right?
Yeah, it's not even like, oh, he went out and like, I didn't like your personality. I didn't want to do this. He just wanted a younger version of you. And then the friend group also made this comment about how he would never do this with his wife, what he's doing with his girlfriend. Like he sort of gave up way before he kind of left her. So yeah, I was just thinking about, would I be mature enough to let my ex-husband's partner speak at his funeral when I've been with him for 25 years? And
Nah.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
So I would, because for whatever reason, if we're not together, why do I care, right? Even if it was one-sided, we're not together. So the person who he was with when he passed away should have the right to speak. That's the person they chose to be with in their like final moments or whenever they died. They should have a chance to say what they want to say. Like, I don't have ownership over that person's life, right?
I don't think it's so much ownership as you're
Years spent
essentially
together even,
gathering your family and friends, everything that you've shared with your partner over 25 years. And you're talking about your experiences together versus this person who's been with your partner for 8 months. I think it was like 8 months, less than a year at that time.
The timing changes things. If we get divorced and for 10 years he's been with this other person, then yes, that other person should definitely be speaking
absolutely.
up.
The other
Yeah,
person would
10
be
years,
planning
it's
the
like,
funeral
yeah,
at that
yeah,
point.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, that wouldn't
right,
be
that
on me
life.
anymore.
Right. But yeah,
But
if this
even
is like
8
a
months,
fresh
like,
wound.
I don't know.
I mean, yes, 8 months is a long time, but I feel like that's still a fresh enough, not a wound, because it sounds like it was like mutual, right? Like, yes, the two of us should get divorced.
No,
Whatever.
I mean, she kind of wanted to hold on for longer. He kind of left.
I think
a
that's
long time
kind of
ago.
the thing. It's like, it's one thing if the girlfriend wants to throw the funeral or wants to take the ashes and throw it into the, water in the ocean or something, right? But just to talk at the funeral, your 8 months meant something to you, meant something to the guy who passed away. So why not? Like, yes, the wife brings in all the family, brings in all the kids, everything great. But I think the girlfriend still does have a right to be there and to say her piece.
Yeah, I mean, like he chose her and she is a human being at the end of the day. I mean, like, yeah, I'm angry about it, but it's so hard to like pull your feelings aside from that and just be mature here.
Just given the timings of like, it's only been 8 months.
Yes. Like I don't know.
So both of you are saying you wouldn't let this
honest to God, like I have no idea. And it's later revealed in the show that he had cheated a couple times before as well. So from my understanding, at least, they had to some extent been putting in more work to keep together than someone who's not in a relationship where there's cheating
I'd like
happening.
to pivot off of this if possible, just because like nowadays you hear a lot more about relationships where they're in a marriage for 25 years, but in reality, they didn't feel that way. And they got married because they wanted to please their mother or father or whatever. And 25 years of marriage later, they're coming out. In that situation, now, if it's a boyfriend that he had for 8 months, would you let them talk? Right? It's a very different
I think
situation.
that's different because you essentially had to hide who you were
right?
for so long. Yeah, absolutely. You
and
should
it's
talk.
like you can't do anything about that. You as an individual,
Yeah,
right?
this isn't
like
about me.
The younger
truthfully.
model trade-in is like, oh, this is a moral failing on your
part,
Right.
right? You expect to grow old with your partner for them to just appreciate who you are at that point in your life, right? So I honestly don't know. Like I hope, well, if we're hoping for things, I hope I never have to come to this situation. But if ever we got to that point, I don't know. But yeah, that was just on my mind. Anyway, anything else?
Yeah, I'm good. You guys want to play some Would You Rather?
Yeah, that's a great transition, Sel. Well done.
Well, here's the
you like that
context for
segue?
this. Anytime we would have dinner and we would have guests over, Sal would start the would you rather bit. And it's kind of how we would keep ourselves entertained. So that's kind of the backstory there.
All right, here it is. Would you rather live stream your entire life from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, or never access social media again?
I don't really use social media anyway these days. So I feel like that would be the easier option than have every part of my life being captured.
Yeah, that's a level of vulnerability that I think. Yeah, I think this one's a whitewash unless
My
Jin.
answer is the same thing because I'm not on a lot of social media to begin with. But I will say I live my life pretending to be a YouTuber. Like now I'm going to take a quarter spoon of this, mix it together and move on. You know, there is kind of like an appeal to just having all those memories.
Is YouTube social media?
Yes.
Yeah, of course
YouTube
it
is
is.
considered
This
social media.
is pretty difficult,
right?
for
Like
sure.
I'd love for like a live action, you know, like everyone's following me around as I go hiking. That'd be so fun. I think the other part of that is it's a live stream, but are people watching said live stream? You know, like
I mean,
there's
but
also
the thing
chance that
is,
there's
like,
just like
it's-
5 people.
Once it's out there,
it's captured
out
forever,
there.
right? And you said 24/7, like the full time. So what about
24/7,
like
yeah.
bathrooms? Like,
Ooh, the toll it would take on any like relationship that you ever have.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, here's another one. Would you rather be able to taste any flavor just by imagining it, or be able to smell any scent by imagining it?
I mean, is this like a automatic, like if I think of shit, I'd be smelling shit? Or is it just like on cue, I can say, I'd love to smell a rose and I smell a rose? Is it forced?
No. The complicated thing is scientifically taste is like so linked to your
smell,
sense
so
of
it's
smell, to your
basically the same
olfact.
thing.
Yeah. Let's say you can do it on demand. Only if you want to, you can.
Then I would do taste.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? Like you're really craving a chocolate and you're like, all right, let's just get some Cadbury straight into the mouth. Mm-hmm. Melty, melty, nice and smelty.
I'm sorry. I don't think I can just move past that.
Melty, melty, nice and smelty?
Is that a thing?
Of course not.
Oh, jeez, that's what I'm saying. Like,
This is called ingenuity.
Honestly, I don't think I could even comment on this because I have a very active imagination. So when I think of something, the smell automatically comes into my mind. Just like if I think of food, I can taste it in my mind. So
that is a thing, right? When you think of like a really sour lemon,
apparently
you
like,
start salivating, right?
there are
Like,
people that can't imagine smells and taste, but like I do that anyway. So yeah, I don't know. Like it doesn't really, and especially if it's on demand. For me, it's not on demand. If a word pops up, the smell and the taste associated, if it's a food, that automatically pops up anyway when I'm thinking of something.
Yeah. Yeah. Secret would you rather topic. Would you rather fight 3 wolves?
No,
we
have to shut this down.
we gotta stop.
or 1 bear?
No, we have to stop this. We cannot go into
We have
this.
very clear opinions. We're not in agreement.
Dear listeners, this is a argument that we have rehashed over and over and over again. And the only correct answer
Before
is
we get into that,
yes.
let's get more into the back. Every time we have a new person in our family or friend group, this is the question that we ask to gauge what kind of person they are.
are
do
you
we
red
like
pilled or
them?
blue pilled?
Right.
And the correct answer here is, of course, to fight 3 wolves, because if you fight a
And you're
grizzly bear, you are dead within like 0.3
It is
seconds.
1 versus 3, buddy.
It
versus
honestly is
3.
a numbers game. And wolves hunt in packs. Like they
Wolves are
very,
large.
very good strategists.
But
I mean,
wolves are
look,
terrified of humans.
Either
No,
way,
it's
you're
the point
dead.
that there's 3 of them. And when you think of a wolf, if you're thinking of your cute little German shepherd, your little Siberian husky, you're wrong. Wolves are gigantic.
Exactly.
Okay, those things would shred you apart in seconds. There's 3 of them circling you versus one
Right. You
grizzly
have
bear.
2 eyes, and essentially they could be circling. That is sometimes how they hunt prey. Is they
Yeah, but if
attack
you're
them
up
from
against
different
a corner
directions.
and you're just going, "Grrr," like
Okay,
if you,
you
can scare
still
them off.
have 3 of them. What are you going to do? You fight 2 of them with your arms? Okay, well, the other one's got your neck. Like, it's over.
Dear listeners, incorrect opinions abounding from left and right. However, always bear in mind, the grizzly wins 10 times out of 10. The 3 wolves win 9.9999999
That is not true.
times
Yes,
out of 10.
grizzlies do attack people, and wolves also have been reported to attack people. I don't think we can debate, okay, yeah, like, who are you killing? Because you don't know the circumstances of how those deaths happened anyway.
Will you win?
My thinking is, it's honest to God, it's a numbers game. It's 3 versus 1.
And you have a knife, right? You have like a pocket
yeah.
knife.
Our
That's
thing
the
was we
whole
have a knife. Like, who are you
premise.
taking down? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, sorry. You do
if
have
you
a knife.
One knife. What can you do? And I understand reaction times is a thing too, but it's like 3 things. Like you can't keep your eyes on them. They're not attacking you one by one.
Clearly, the average human being is dead.
It's just, can you survive a little bit longer?
Can you survive a little bit longer? And I think you can do it against 3 wolves.
No, you can't.
Because the pack tactics actually genuinely make the difference.
Wait,
they're
here's
not
the thing. Let's
lunging for you because they're waiting. They're like, okay, my buddy's on this side.
They're not
My other buddy's on this
They're
side.
not waiting at all. That is
not
not how
waiting.
they
A
attack.
bear
And here's
is
the thing. You have one knife. You stab one wolf. The wolf scurries off to the side. You lost your knife. You got 2 other wolves coming at you. Like you have a single weapon.
yeah, but that's when you block using the elbow. You gouge out its eyes.
Right,
you,
because
Okay,
it's waiting
we're
there
not
for you to
fighting
block it.
imaginary stuffed animals where
No.
blocking with an elbow is stopping them. They're just going to bite through that.
They're going to attack the minute they see your arm
Right.
out.
and like life or death situation, adrenaline pumping through the veins. You kill one of those wolves, its pack mates, they're like, okay, maybe this serious. Let's back off.
That is not usually what happens. They still attack you.
No.
Okay, maybe they get scared, maybe they run off, but that's a big maybe. They're there to kill. They're not there to be like, oh, can we be friends? No. Their point is to kill.
No.
Listen, we can't keep talking
comments
about
got me.
this.
The comments got me. The bear is the right answer. All right, the bear is the right answer.
Wait,
the comments
since
got
when
me.
do you think the bear is the right answer?
What's that? The wolves are the right answer.
All
They
right,
use
guys,
mind
debate
tricks
is
on
over.
them.
We
So
are
basically
moving on
she
right
lied.
now.
I do
All
believe-
3 are on bear.
I do believe they've confounded me. All right. Welcome to the Reddit section of the podcast. Little story, a little reaction time. Here it is. My adult daughter is a pathological liar and narcissist. Okay. The girl lies a lot. She's been this way since she was a little girl. She loved attention. And there are many examples where she's told her friends that we have abused her or stopped her from doing something that she needed to do. And now in her mid-20s, she's moved out of the state and she's told everyone that she knows that she went no contact with her abusive family. But we drove her up there and are paying for the first 3 months of her rent in her brand new condo. What do we do? Right? Obviously the comments are like, yeah, this is a narcissist. Get the hell out of here. Da 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 da.
What do you mean? What do we do? What do you need to do? I don't understand. What's the context?
Well, they just feel uncomfortable. They're just like, all of these people think we're like these serial abusers, but like the worst we've ever done is like a parking violation. They're just boring people essentially. And clearly this daughter doesn't want that. The reason I interact with this is I used to lie a lot as a kid. If I didn't have people around me, just like putting me in check and just being like, no, you're an idiot. Don't do that. Because I mean, to be fair, I think like if you're in your 20s and you're making lies like this, you have to have been enabled by somebody in your life, correct? Like,
See, I feel like I have like complicated thoughts about this because I've worked with people who've gone through trauma in the psych field for.
oh yeah, by the way, Jin and Ezzy are like scientist people in real life. Anyway, continue.
Not quite the close.
Yeah.
But like there are people who turn to lying just from trauma and abuse. Yeah, probably what she's saying is not truthful, but we don't actually know if the parents did do something.
I left out that part of the post. Her parents talked to her about this and she was like, yeah, I just want to make a couple things up to be a little bit more interesting.
I'm definitely not on like the side of the daughter. Like she's 20. Like we probably
Right, like
should
what
be.
would you say the parents should do? Because they're just uncomfortable at this point. They're just like, holy crap, like how did we let it get this bad? But like, what are they going to do?
First of all,
Disown their own
it's
daughter?
not their fault, and there's probably nothing that they could have done to prevent the daughter from doing this because there is a full-grown adult who's going to do what they want.
Well, I disagree with that too.
Really, I don't.
Oh, I disagree with that.
Really, I don't.
We interrupt this podcast with breaking news. Jin does not disagree with herself. And now, back to the show.
I mean, here's my thing. If the parents go to her and say, hey, can you not lie about us? You really think she's going to stop lying about you? No.
No, I mean, I disagreed with you saying there's probably nothing the parents could have done, but I disagree with that because the parents clearly knew about this for quite a long time.
yeah.
They could have gotten her
Yeah,
help.
that's the
But
enabling
what
part of
help? Like, if you don't think that that's a real problem.
But that's the thing, right?
Real
Therapy
problem
and other
happens.
things exist because you can tell them this thing that you don't think is wrong is actually wrong in society. And this is kind of what the untold rules of society are. And this is kind of how we have to operate within that. So yeah, I think the parents could have and should have gotten help quite a long time ago if this is something that they noticed for.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they never thought it was a big deal until now she's telling other people in her adult life. Because, you know, when a kid's lying, you can always, as the parent, just be like, yeah, they're lying. Whereas as an adult, they go off and say, yeah, my parents are really abusive.
Right, like,
now
that's
it's
the
making
snowball.
them look bad, right?
Yeah.
Like that is why now they're caring about it. And I think you can't do anything about it. I would just be like, look, that's just who the person is. And
But that's not true either to me.
what would
Let me
you
not just
do,
establish
right?
fact.
Like,
Well, it seems like they are supporting her financially and they're providing her assistance. So I think they are in a position to be like, we're not okay with this. We do think
We need to get
can,
you into therapy
yeah,
or something.
we think, you know, you would benefit from some help and we want you to do that if you want continued support from us. Maybe like through her lying or whatever, and she just amasses large amounts of wealth and she has nothing essentially stopping her. That's much worse than right now. She needs your help. And you
Yeah.
can set conditions to that help so you can help your daughter both financially and mentally.
Ultimately, it's like, I can sympathize with them, but why weren't you putting a stop to this earlier? Like, why weren't you trying to figure out?
until it was about them?
Right. Right. So it's like, oh, now that we are affected by your compulsive need to lie, let's do something about it. But really, you should have like been thinking about this when you first found out at age 8.
Yeah,
Like,
but I
okay.
mean, like the thing with humans is that I know people like to be like, oh, we're set in our ways. They're set in their ways, but you can rewire, retrain your
That's a
brain. to do
neuroplasticity.
things. Exactly.
You can change.
Exactly. So, you know, it's not too late. Even if you guys are listening out there, you're just like, oh, I have this habit, I have that habit, or someone that I love has this. You can always get people to change. You know, you just have to be supportive enough and want what's good for them, not just, oh, they're talking bad about me, so now I got to get involved, right? I think
best
it's
time
not
to
too
plant a
late.
tree was 80 years ago. Second best time is now.
Yeah.
Intervene, do what you need to do. All right,
About
Jen, you got a
you,
story for
Jen?
us?
Yeah, so this is actually pretty short and sweet. Not going to read the whole thing, but it's an interesting topic similar to that whole theme of lying. But it goes, I don't know if this is pathetic or genius, but I got laid off 3 months ago and haven't told anyone. Not my boyfriend, my friends. Every morning I get dressed like normal. I pack lunch and I leave for work. I mean, it goes on to say they go and sit in a diner. They sit there and just do nothing, but like they haven't told anyone, right?
Follow up. Shared finances with the boyfriend or they live alone?
I actually can't tell. I would imagine it's not
Yeah, 'cause
shared to
if
the point
it's
where they
shared
have like a
finances-
joint bank account
Right,
where
right.
the person
Boyfriend
can
knows.
track if,
Right.
you know, you're getting like payments on time or anything. But to me, it seems like, okay, this relationship, I don't know how close they are. If there's like a level of embarrassment or whatever, but I think I would want someone to feel the sorrow, to feel the pain of me having like lost my job. And I would immediately tell them, I can't imagine packing your own lunch, getting dressed every morning and leaving the house as if nothing happened to you.
Yeah, like you don't have to announce it to the whole world, but at least like your boyfriend like is supposed to be that person who's there for you.
I mean, like this person probably thinks they're, one of the unique people to do this, but this happens all the time when people get laid off or lose their jobs and they don't tell their loved ones. And
yeah, you think it's only happening to you because it feels that way.
Yes, but I mean, like, yeah, it's very easy to judge, but I get it. It's this huge blow to you. And most people consider their jobs a key part of their identity, especially in like the country that we live in. Like that's one of the first questions that we ask one another. What do you guys do? Right?
Oh, yeah. What do you do for work? Yeah.
So like when it's such a huge part of your identity and that's taken from you very quickly, I empathize. Like I understand why you might not want to tell your partner. And I don't know, like maybe the hope is that
you wouldn't tell your partner. Like, or you
no,
understand why this
I would.
person
I'm
does
saying
not.
I empathize with this person and they don't need to feel quite so bad about the fact that they're hiding this. And maybe their hope is that within
they'll bounce back.
Yes, they can get a job before someone else finds out,
man.
which is a harder thing to do, especially if this is a recent story. And
you
trying
don't
to get a
know,
job
right?
these days is very, very difficult.
Awful.
But yeah, maybe they just need that time to just process internally. Cause like this huge thing happens. Your life has fallen apart at this moment, right? So like sometimes you might just want some time to think about how you want to mention this to your partner, like how this is going to change your
3 months
life.
isn't you're thinking about how to break the news, right? That's like, I mean, the fact that you're packing lunch and leaving the home, like that's what I don't understand.
I don't know. Like I find it very hard to judge people when situations like
they're
this
going through a
happens.
crisis, right?
Yes, because you lost a huge part of your life and your identity, and it's as long. Here's what I'll say: as long as you are not putting your family or your partner in harm's way by you
risk,
doing this, it's fine. It would be one thing if you guys are looking at houses and you don't tell your partner that you got laid off. That's a completely different story than you guys are pretty well. You're doing okay, right? Yeah, obviously you're losing money because you're not employed. And then you take, some time to think about it or not say what's happening versus like the house example.
I mean, there's also the context of like maybe you were at fault and like maybe you had to show up to work on time every day and you didn't. And that's why you lost your job. And so you feel some form of guilt. I don't know. I don't understand the premise of why they're not sharing that news. But to me, I think it's again, like how much emotional support do you need, right? Like I just can't imagine.
Some of it
3
is
months.
psychological, right? Like you don't want these people to view you any differently, right? Stuff like that. But it's like the people who love you want to be there for you,
Will
right?
understand.
So like,
or maybe they're afraid the boyfriend will leave them, right? Because we don't know how fresh this relationship is. Like if they, aren't in it for a long haul and it's like, oh, hey, you lost your job and now I have to support you. Absolutely not. Like we're breaking up, you never know.
I don't know. Like sometimes it's just so hard. Like you can talk to strangers about things, but it's just so hard to tell your loved ones certain things. That's why a lot of people do therapy, right? Having a complete stranger listen to your problems sometimes is easier than having to like bare your heart out to your loved ones.
yeah.
If I have to give advice, I'd be like, try to share with your loved ones because they do want to support you. And if they don't want to support you, they're not your like you don't want them in your life anyway. That's a great litmus test. Just be like, yeah, you don't want to be with me at this low point in my life, then I don't want you with me at the high point, right? So yeah, that would be the advice. But yeah, honestly, like I
Resident fence sitter, enlightened centrist has joined the chat. Yeah, I think I can see both sides. I think my thing is like the duration of the lie by omission. I think like
3
not,
months.
yeah, right. Like I feel like, for instance, if tomorrow I was laid off, right? Like obviously I would be like really impacted by, I'm so close to you two, to mom and dad, that I probably would just come right out and say, guys, I got laid off.
It would
But
be immediate, like a text. In that moment, I'd be
right,
like,
it'd be
guys,
immediate.
I'm in the meeting. They just fired me.
for me. But like if I was someone who tied a lot of my self-worth, a lot of like who I am as a person to this thing that I do professionally, then I can understand like, okay, maybe I just process it for like a week. And then I tell slowly, like my most immediate loved one, and then maybe out to my like extended family, whatever. But like 3 months, I think is really my hang up.
3 months. And
The
lengths
it's
you're
like
going to keep it a secret seems almost
burning.
pathological at
Well,
that
they
point.
might be like sort of in over their heads at this point where they did take like a week.
right,
And, that
and
turned
then
into
they
2
can't go
weeks.
back.
And now it's like 3 months. And I was just like, now if I speak up, he's just going to ask me why
didn't I
tell
tell
him
you?
earlier. And it's just, you might just be like in this little hole that you can't like seem
Dig
to
out
see
of,
out
yeah.
of.
Yeah, but
So-
that's where the advice comes in. We can understand how you got to the situation.
Yeah, but you know, like
you got to
try
get yourself out.
Try
Yeah,
to
yeah.
connect with your loved ones and tell them, even though it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, because you can't keep burning the candle at both ends, right? Like burning through your savings, keeping up appearances is the big thing, right? If someone invites you to go out to dinner, yeah, let's split the bill. Like, are you really
Or
going to be
someone
like,
sees you at this diner and is like, hey, you're supposed to be working. Why are you here? Then you're covering up other facts as you go, right? It's just a matter of time before it all comes to head. And then that's a really big deal instead of just being honest from the beginning.
and on that depressing as hell note,
Well, actually, I have a lighter story, but still a little bit lying
end us off in
related. Yeah.
style.
So I was 10 years old and I had no identity. You know, the kind of
Hang
kid.
on. And this is a story that you're reading off Reddit?
Yes,
Someone else's 10? All right.
This is someone else's story, not me. I was 10 years old. I had no identity. You know, the kind of kid who just exists, not popular, not sporty, not artsy, just there. That was me. Until one day we had this health class presentation about the respiratory system, and the topic of asthma came up, which I kind of knew about because my aunt talked about having asthma. Anyway, kids in class had questions and comments. Someone said, "Can asthma kill you?" Another girl said, "My cousin has it. It's really hard." And I just blurted out, "Yeah, it is. I have asthma." I didn't. But people looked at me differently, concerned, impressed. And by the end of the day, I had faked a coughing fit in homeroom and made a teacher move me away from the window because of pollen. The attention was immediate.
Wow.
Kids who had never spoken to me started asking things like, "Are you okay to go to the gym today?" Someone let me go first at the water fountain. A girl asked if I needed help carrying my backpack. Anyway, I dove in hard and started saying stuff that I had heard my aunt say. Things like, "I can't do outdoors today." Once during kickball, I told everyone my lungs felt tight and sat out while holding my chest like I was having a heart attack. It became my thing, and up until this point in my life, it was the best time of my life. But then someone asked me where my inhaler was. I didn't have one, but I knew who did. So the next time my aunt came over, I quietly stole her
Oh my
inhaler
God.
from her purse. Brought it to school, carried it everywhere. And back then, schools just didn't have medical plans for students, so no one really questioned it. And I kept that lie going for a year until one of my parents got a transfer and we moved. I retired the asthma lie at my new school. Don't really know why. I got tired, I guess. But to this day, I still think about the version of me that lived in that town. A brave, delicate, fragile boy who just wanted to breathe.
That is unhinged. Also, totally in character, I think, for a 10-year-old boy.
10-year-old, right? I mean, I'm kind of impressed by the depths to which this child has gone to keep this going for a year. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's about the attention, you know, like especially if you lack that attention, then the minute someone gives it to you, you're just like, yeah, I totally have asthma, man. You know, it feeds into itself.
This is like deeply unrelatable for me, at least, and probably for you too as well, because we moved around so much as kids. I think our goal, because we were always, you know, the new kid, always like the novel person, it was always to try and fit in,
Blend in. Yeah.
blend in under, you know, whatever circumstance, like lose the country accent, lose the other accent.
Lose what,
on the
5
new
different
one.
accents
Pretty
that we had
much.
collected over the time? Yeah.
Right. Like someone talks to you, you parrot that shit right back at them. Yeah. So I can't imagine wanting to stick out to this extent.
We always strive to just blend in. Like, you
Yeah,
know,
it's just
Yeah.
mirroring everyone around you so you fit in a little bit
there's
better.
a version of ourselves that are born and raised in the exact same small town, and we pull shit like this to stand out. But
I mean, how
Yeah, I guess that's
different
just
we
not-
would sound if we had never moved from like the third spot we lived in, right? We would all have such deep accents.
Bit of a twang too.
Very, very
Crazy.
southern accents. Yes.
And
but-
Sal grew up there. So that was like the first accent, she ever had.
Because I was too
Hard to
young for
beat.
all the other places.
yeah, I think it's one thing that we wanted to fit in, but we could have made up lies about other places that we had lived in and no one would know because this particular place that we're talking about was such a little quaint little
Yeah,
small
very
town where
backwoods,
everyone knew each
nowhere.
other and we could just say
I
anything
love
we
that,
wanted.
like as he's saying like this quaint, cute little town. And then Sal's over there saying like nowhere.
A thing can be two things at once.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Suppose.
It was quite literally just a town in the middle of a bunch of cornfields.
Yeah, it's just
That's where we
exciting though.
lived.
Because I think when Sal left, you were what, like 8 years old? So
Yeah,
to
I would
describe
say-
the place you left when you were 8 as like nowhere, it's just like,
But I mean,
it's just hard.
I mean, like people had lived there for generations.
Yeah, it's
no one
definitely- no one
left.
leaves.
Everyone just kind
and no
of
one joins.
Yeah.
There was never anyone new.
I mean, that was the thing. It's just, I mean, everywhere we went, we were the new kids, obviously.
Always.
But especially in this one particular place, we were like alien to them. And they would just ask us so many random questions. It was just very, very abundantly clear that we could say whatever we wanted about the previous place. And none of these people knew anything to, contradict or verify.
And
what we're
oftentimes
saying.
what we said was true and it was still just as
Yes.
alien to them,
Yes.
right? I know we always
Yeah,
pick
but-
up on accents and
Right. Because sometimes I do feel that when someone talks to me and I respond, I'm just doing a poor impression of the way they talk to me. Oh my God. I've just thought of something.
What?
You've heard the story before, Jen. I don't know if you have, Ezzy.
which one?
My train story, the British train story.
I don't know about this train story. Spill.
All right, I'm going to be vulnerable here. My friends and I are about to go out into a city. We're talking in very clearly American accents, and we see this really flustered woman come up onto the platform that we're standing on. She's got these large suitcases with her. She comes over to us, and in the strongest British accent, she just goes, oh, do you know where such and such is? And without conscious thought, did not go into it with any hint of malice. I just looked down at the little figurine that she's got and I go, oh yeah, it's just 3 stops down. And she'd heard me, mind you, 30 seconds earlier, full American accent. And then all of a sudden I'm switching up into British. Oh my God. She gives me the strange little look like, oh, you're making fun of me, huh? And she's like, okay, thank you. And then she just goes over and I'm just like, holy shit. And my friends are just dying.
Did they even ask you why you spoke in like a British accent, or were they just immediately laughing?
They immediately started laughing. I was
That
like,
poor
oh my
woman
God.
probably thought it was a bit, like you were dared to speak in a British accent or something.
Oh my God. Yeah, I hadn't even thought of it that way. But
Yeah.
all of this to
Oh, that's
say,
awful.
the train comes, we get an entirely separate car. They do not let me live it down. And they're just like, yeah, wait, why the hell did you do that? And I was just like, I don't know. I guess it's like this like parroting thing that I do for absolutely no reason.
You want to know something?
What?
I do the exact same
Oh,
thing.
no.
And I've done it before. And again, it's not like ill intent or malice or anything. It's just whatever I hear is how I respond. But the same thing works with tone or intonations, right? That's exactly how I respond to you. And it's the same thing with accents. Again, I'm not mocking anyone. It's just if you speak to me in an accent, I have to do quite a bit of work inside my head to not speak to them in an accent. Something Sal clearly didn't do in this situation. But no, honestly,
Sue
like
me.
I think it's
No
just
thoughts.
a part of moving around so much. And that's what we had to do growing up. We would just adopt whatever accent other people spoke in.
I guess it's like very similar to like code switching, maybe. It drives my friends up the wall sometimes when I talk to someone who I'm meeting for the first time. And my voice always kind of comes out like this. Like, oh my God, hi, nice to meet you. Yeah, we should like definitely grab coffee together sometimes. And there's like, what the is that voice? And I'm just like, what are you guys talking? Because I don't recognize it.
I mean, like, I think that's also part of the thing of just having different versions of your personality for different people. It's not just this voice thing where every single person in your life would describe you in a different way because you're giving them different pieces and versions of yourself. So it's sort of like that, where you're just different voices for different people, slight different mannerism changes for different people. I feel like everything connects back to just having lived in so many different places that It's just, this is what we kind of got to do to fit in. And it just kind of continued.
And it's so funny because nowadays, now that we're like full grown adults, we don't have to fit in anywhere, but we still have this like mishmash of personalities and traits. And we all still ended up so different as well. Like, it's so hard to explain.
If anyone else out there has lived and moved around in a bunch of different places and now you're
probably also up.
Yeah. Or if you're like this little boy, you kept that accent in the new place just to stand out, right?
That's
like
something we could have done too.
Yeah. But we were idiots. We wanted to blend in.
We wanted to blend in. We want to be unique.
We stood out for other reasons. So like, let's be honest, that was probably the last thing we needed.
Yeah. I mean, any new kid, I think, kind of stands out, especially like even in the current place that we live in, the schools that we went to, people have known each other for their entire lives. They went to elementary school, middle school, high school, all kind of together. Anyone outside of that sphere stands out very intensely. And then here are these little kids that come in with completely different accents. That would have just made things a lot more challenging for us than if we just kind of adapted our accents to the new place.
It's definitely true.
All right. Does that about close it for our very first episode?
I think so. This was actually fun. You know, I was kind of nervous about this, but
yeah, it's literally just have a conversation, but there happens to be mics in front of us.
Yeah,
that's definitely true.
But yeah, you guys should definitely stick around. We're gonna keep doing this.
Yes.
All right. Drink your tea. Get out of here.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Bye. Bye.